So it seems as if P. Diddy allegedly used the company vehicle to go and terrorize Kid Cudi. Why I'm saying that is I am following the case in real time by following the Twitter account InnerCityPress. Michael is giving us play for play of how things are going in the courtroom. So I am going to read to you from InnerCityPress as he is typing word for word from what's happening this morning. This is day 11 of the trial, happening on May 28, 2025. And I'm going to read to you from the top. So it says, before the jury is brought in, the judge says, let's address this. All the government is saying is that the message shows Miss Ventura's state of mind. Combs attorney Donaldson says this. That's the problem with not being able to recall Miss Ventura as a witness. Because as you guys know, Miss Ventura has been released as a witness. She has gone into labor. I think she already have her child. I'm not sure if it's a boy or girl, but I think she had her baby yesterday. And she's not being recalled as a witness. So we just have to go off everything that she's already said to the jury on this case. So the assistant U.S. attorney says, all Mr. Nash will quote is, he's making me freak off on my birthday. She didn't want to go. So Combs attorney Alexandra Shapiro says, a spouse might say, he's making me go to the Rangers game. I'd rather not tonight. The judge said, you could have cross-examined Miss Ventura about this. All right. The judge says, every day now I'm getting these letters. These issues should have been raised pre-trial in motions in limine. And InnerCityPress put a note that he has filed for these letters to be put into the docket, and now they're going in. And then he gives us a screenshot of some stuff. Okay, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. It says, the judge says, let's bring our jury in. All rise. Jurors entered. Assistant U.S. Attorney says the government calls LAPD Officer Christopher Ignacio. Christopher Ignacio takes the stand. The Assistant U.S. District Attorney asks, what is a radio call? Ignacio says someone calls 911 and it gets sent to the next available LAPD unit on duty. Assistant U.S. District Attorney says, on December 22nd, 2011, what was your shift? Ignacio replies, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in a marked police vehicle. Attorney asks, what do you remember? Ignacio, got a call around 8 a.m., code 3 with lights and sirens to 8925 Hollywood Hills Road. Attorney, what did you find there? Ignacio, an Escalade. Ignacio writes, because he's doing word for word, but he's not going to catch everything. So he's doing the most important parts. Ignacio says, I memorized the license plate. Attorney asks, why? Ignacio, I thought it would be involved in a crime the way it left as soon as we got there. Attorney asks, why didn't you go after it? Ignacio, we didn't have a crime yet. The front door was unlocked. We went in. Attorney, what did you see? Ignacio, high-end watches and purses, some wrapped, some unwrapped. 2 detectives showed up. We came out. I saw the same black Escalade now driving down the hill. Then attorney says, then what? He says, Mr. Miss Cudi arrived in a porch. That's Kid Cudi. So that was at Kid Cudi's home where the call was made to. Continuing, attorney says, you ran the plate to the Escalade? Ignacio, yes, it came back as Bad Boy Records. Attorney, no further question. Judge says, cross-examine Mr. Steele. Combs Brian Steele asks, this was 13 years ago, right? Ignacio says, yes. Steele asks, you read your partner's report? Ignacio says, yes. Okay. Continue to read. Steele, cross-examining. The streets there are dead ends? Ignacio, according to the map. Steele, it's a beautiful neighborhood, right? A cul-de-sac? Ignacio, sure. Steele, you didn't follow the car as it drives away, right? Ignacio says, right. Said, did you see a Porsche? Ignacio says, I don't know. Steele, still continuing to cross-examine, said, do you know the definition of a kidnapping? The assistant U.S. District Attorney says, objection. Judge, sustained. Steele continues to ask, where were you told the homeowner was in the house shortly before you and your partner got there? Again, objection. This time the judge overruled. Steele, the attorney asks, the door was unlocked? Ignacio says yes. Still cross-examining. Steele, there was no furniture upended, right? Ignacio says no. Steele, you called it a trespass, not a burglary, right? Because objection. Judge says, I think sustained. No report of theft? No, Ignacio says. Steele, still asking. If you thought there was a gun in the Escalade, you could have put out a bolo, right? Be on the lookout, right? Assistant District Attorney. Objection. Judge, overruled. Steele, you didn't, right? Ignacio, right. Steele, any mention of security cameras? Ignacio, I saw some. Steele, Mr. Miss Cudi wasn't hyperventilating, right? Ignacio said no, he was tense, I'd say. Steele, did you search his Porsche? Ignacio says no. Steele says it was 8:20 a.m., 6:30, not 6:30 a.m., right? Ignacio says right. Steele, nothing further. And there was no redirect. So that's it for Ignacio. He was questioned. He's the officer, one of the officers that got the call to go to the house. And he told what he saw. He was questioned by the district attorney. Then he was cross-examined by one of P. Diddy's attorney, Mr. Steele, and there was no redirect. So we don't know if he'll be called again. Remember, this is in real time. All right, now they're going to call the next witness, and we go in with the assistant district attorney calling. The government calls L.A. Arson Investigator Lance Jimenez. I'll place a binder in front. A witness takes the stand. The attorney, U.S. District Attorney says, how many fires have you investigated? Jimenez says, 100 a year, everything between mansions to dumpster fires. L.A. is pretty crazy. Assistant District Attorney asks, did you respond as an expert to an auto fire at 8925 Hollywood Hills Road? Jimenez says, yes. There was a cut in the roof of the Porsche. Assistant U.S. District Attorney says, what about inside the Porsche? Jimenez says, burn patterns inside. Assistant U.S. District Attorney asks, any items? Jimenez says, a bottle on the front seat. Jimenez says, a handkerchief burned, a lighter on the ground. So an Assistant U.S. District Attorney asks, what hypotheses did you draw? Jimenez says, Molotov cocktail. U.S. District Attorney said, how did you think it got in? Jimenez says, someone lit it, cut the roof, and dropped it in. Okay, the last install. Assistant U.S. District Attorney said, let me show you some photos. This is the black Porsche that was burned. Jimenez says, that was burned? Question mark. Jimenez says, yes. And what kind of bottle was used? Jimenez says, Old English 800 malt liquor. Oh, that's a cheap one. And Assistant District Attorney asks, and the wick for the Molotov cocktail, he said, a designer type scarf, silky. In my opinion, this was targeted. Wow. So he used a cheap malt liquor bottle with one of his silk scarf to start the fire, allegedly. So that is what we have so far today, day 11. The morning portion, we have had the police officer that responded to the break-in, and we also have a firefighter who also responded regarding the car. And yeah, now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty. They're still trying to keep Cassie's testimony in there. It's already in there. Let's work with it. Let's move on from Cassie. But we are having expert witnesses come forward now to testify in this case. So allegedly, the car that was used to go to Kid Cudi's house was registered to Bad Boy Records, and we have where the fire chief is actually talking about what he actually saw that day. So as I get more information, I will come with it, but this is where we are. Okay, guys, continue to watch my videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye. Tired of the same old styles? Ready to make waves with your wardrobe? Welcome to Touch Me Textures, where bold meets beautiful and every piece is designed to turn heads. Our collections are all about textures that feel as good as they look. From flowy dresses to eye-catching accessories, we've got everything you need to express your style your way. Find pieces that speak to you for every vibe, every adventure. And the best part? Our site makes it easy to shop and easy to fall in love with everything. So why wait? Dive into style that's uniquely yours at touchmetextures.com. Feel fabulous, look unforgettable. Click the link in the description to check out all we have to offer.